on levels 12 and above get 50%. Yes, that has some impact. But to ameliorate it on teaching, there are allowances that we pay generally to teachers, which make their own income, that is their remuneration, higher than their peers in the general civil service. Okay, that is number one. Okay. Then we further augment teachers' pay by working on a 25% additional rural posting allowance, okay, for teachers that will be in rural settings. And majority of our teachers are in the rural areas. So when you add all this up, of course, and we do not deny them the fact that we owe them money. So as we get money, we pay the arrears progressively. Don't forget that all the salary payment structure I've mentioned are agreed on through a committee which we call Fund Apportionment Committee, under the leadership of the veteran labor leader, Comrade Sumono. Every month, the committee meets to determine what goes to where. So we are progressively working on ensuring that our workers, particularly teachers, are properly motivated.
So what you're saying, in effect, is the challenge of salaries and pensions is no longer a major challenge in the state of Osun.
It's not.
Is that what
because
you're saying?
Our workers, and particularly the teachers, are given some special consideration in the scheme of things, and relative to others, they are by far better. So those who want to poo-poo our achievement in education on the ground of you are not paying, they should come and ask our teachers and find out whether they are worse off. They are not.
So are teachers and workers happy in the state of Osun?
Relatively, yes, they are. Relatively. Because the alternative is to retrench.
And you're not ready to
do that. I'm not doing it.
Right. So that gave rise to the modulated salary structure.
Thank you. So when you read about Osun people against Aregbesola, just laugh. I tell them that these are dreamers. They dream worse than Joseph.
Okay, we'll go on a break and then we'll come back. Thanks for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. Yeah. We're still hosting the governor of the state of Osun, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. Stay with us now. We'll be back right shortly.
This 10th year is going to be fun, and more fun. Fun Fair starts on the 6th of December to the 26th of December 2017 at the TVC Communications Compound. Gate fee, 1,000 Naira. For more details, TVC Communications 10th Family Fun Fair, an unforgettable experience. All I want for Christmas is
It is controversial.
As a political party, we intend to hold on to what belongs to us. Simple.
It is revealing.
State chapter of the party controlled by the state governor and funded by the state governor, induced by the state governor, manipulated by the state governor, engineered by the state governor, suspended me for what? For criticizing the state government.
It is incisive.
The dropping of zoning now suggests that perhaps the party may have picked a candidate.
That's not true.
Or is intending to pick a candidate.
I don't think so.
It is investigative.
We're talking about a state that was able to shore up the IGR from what it was during the time of the immediate past administration, which was 750 million naira per month, to what it is now,
that is
5 billion naira per month.
That is improvement. Which is what you expect.
That is not just improvement.
Which is what you expect.
That is administrative ingenuity.
It is not.
Follow us. Showing on TVC News Nigeria.
The city of Osogbo in the state of Osun. It's a special edition of TVC Breakfast. Of course, our guest is none other than Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola himself, the governor of the state. And we've been talking about quite a number of issues. We'll try to break it down even more. It's been exciting listening to the passion with which you talk about some of your achievements so far in the last 7 years. But let's look at the issue of urban renewal. Some of your critics have said you've spent about 80% of the state resources on infrastructure that doesn't seem to have any kind of bearing on the lives of ordinary people. How would you respond to that?
Well, they are misinformed. Misinformation, pure misinformation. And false, and blasphemy. It's not just, it's blasphemy. Malicious blasphemy. And I will explain to you. This is not the accurate figure, but it can never be less than what I'm going to give you. Between 2010, November that we assumed this office, and October this year, this state has spent over 200 billion naira on salaries, wages, and pension. That is by far more than 70% of our total income, both from federation account, IGR, and whatever support we got from anywhere. I say more than 70%. So how could therefore anybody spend anything more than that on any other thing? Totality of what we have spent on development, both human and physical, is under 60 billion naira. So if we want to go by empirical evidence, empirical evidence means what is available, what you can
verifiable,
see, what you can touch, what is verifiable. Thank you, Mike. Then definitely that submission is hogwash.
So why is the elite and some public officials, why are they not satisfied with this level of achievement when it comes to infrastructure?
I'm not sure they are not satisfied.
And urban renewal.
The disoriented opposition, the opposition that ruled here for 7.5 years and could not leave any legacy worthy of reference, are scared by the power of the people forever rejecting them. So they must poo-poo our achievement and make it look inconsequential. That's the only way you can explain it. Outside that, there can't be any other explanation. Disoriented, disgruntled, extremely frightened opposition that could not perform anything while here and therefore must pull down by any means a government that is meeting every aspiration of the people. Listen. Which mother will not celebrate a government or an administration that feeds his kids? Who will discountenance an administration that improves his life economically? So it can be understood why they are jittery, frightened, and panicky. So it's not about what is happening on ground. I've not seen a single person that came to Osun and did not say, you sure all these things are here, and yet to have the huge smear campaign against you? I just shock you. I shock you because I would rather concentrate on what I have to do and leave judgment of my action or inaction to posterity than to bother about what some people who are paid to do whatever they want to do say about me. Because whatever they say in their misguided campaign or mischievous campaign cannot last.
But they're saying an airport is totally irrelevant to the lives of the people.
But,
part of the infrastructure.
Let's ask ourselves.
Yes.
In the first instance, if there had not been the crash in the Nigerian economy, I would have completed my airport by myself because I was doing it so easily and steadily. So the issue of whether it's relevant or irrelevant would not have mattered. But the airport is so central to our overall economic scheme that to us is too important. Look, we have told you we want to engage the world, not Nigeria. Is the world want to engage? I'm a Pan-Africanist. I am shocked that in Nigeria has not positioned itself to be the hub of African aviation system. Nigeria should be, not only by virtue of its location in the continent, by virtue of its manpower capacity, by virtue of its economic size, and what have you. So when you are in a system that does not appreciate and understand its role, then you have this little opportunity, this little window of opportunity to tell the world that we are coming, that we are there. It will be irresponsible of you to shark it. So I don't believe their theory. After all, ask yourself, is Dubai bigger than Osun? Dubai is less in size, geographical size, is less in human population than Osun. If Dubai is the magnet of everybody in the world, and those who are there do not have two heads, look, dismiss the jeremiads of those who are saying that a space is not right for anything. We are more than ripe for everything we are doing. And by the way, on the aviation thing, are we just doing airport for the sake of it? No. Our airport is specially programmed to serve as an aircraft maintenance hub in Nigeria, and wherever it is, we have signed an agreement with aviation manufacturers to service before we even commence the airport project. We have signed an agreement to use Osun as the center for maintaining aircraft. Nigerian Air Force, which provided the contractor to build the airport, were given the contract on the basis of using the Osun base as their hangar for helicopter. It's called rotary wing aircraft maintenance, the Air Force NAF. Besides that, we equally program it to be a cargo hub, a cargo based airport, where all farm produce and such heavy, huge capacity cargo will be airlifted. And we want to make it an African hub where if you are going to any part in Africa, you can take off from Osogbo. Okay. So that's the idea. So in terms of our own vision, it complements the picture of an economic prosperity and center in our region to propel and build prosperity.
All right. Now, still on this aviation now, with the challenge, the seeming challenge in the resources that the state has, how is it able to sustain or project that going forward? Because aviation is a massive, capital-intensive project.
We are not into aviation ourselves. We are simply supplying a basic infrastructure for aviation. Okay, that's our dream. All right. We use our contacts nationally, internationally to attract investment, and which we started before we even began the airport construction. However, Providence, we only help those who are well-meaning and are determined. So Providence has been quite helpful. We got a financier who has taken up the entire finance of the airport by itself, on his own, without a kobo added by us. As a matter of fact, we are benefiting from the partnership. We have converted all our expenditure on the airport to equity, as well as the land in the project. So we have equity, and the financier, Awol, is working with the Turkish government to fund and operate the airport. So
all right, so let's take it to other areas.
On the airport program.
Okay, you talked about agriculture much earlier. We gather that you do have the vision of actually providing food, for the other neighboring states.
Lagos particularly.
Very tall order. How do you hope to achieve that?
We have been achieving it.
Already?
Yes. Okay. I'll just mention one. We went into aggressive fish farming. Aggressive. We put about 2 billion naira into fish farming. And if there were, and the scheme had a slight challenge, our consultants could not really complete the cycle, because we were to do cold stores and cleans.
Was that because government is fully involved in it?
No,
no private participation?
No, it was not government. We simply supplied the operators with fund. It was not government.
Okay.
We rarely do any direct government programs.
Okay.
No. We value the energy, the creativity, and the passion that individual effort could stimulate, and we simply had our own stimulus to ensure that. So we supported fish farmers largely, but because the cycle could not be completed, it greatly depressed nationally our production of fish, depressed the prices of fish in Nigeria from 2013 to 2014, depressed it because there was a glut of fish in the Nigerian market, mostly from the fish we supplied from Osun. And when that was realized, we added fish into the menu of our school children. So if you couldn't sell the fish, we
have an alternative.
Children, yes, so our children have been eating highly nutritious fish in their meals. So, well, I'm not too happy with it because it's money that we must find a way of repaying. Yeah. However, agricultural effort is encapsulated in a program called Osun Rural Enterprise and Agricultural Project, ORIP, which is meant to support farmers. I've told you what we did and how much we invested in it, and we are doing very well in pushing agricultural commodities to particularly Lagos market, which we found extremely lucrative, and other places where such items are required.
All right, let's talk about Southwest integration. You are a big apostle of the Southwest integration when it comes to socio-economic, political, and every sphere of life. How are your other colleagues, your other colleagues, I mean the other governors from the Southwest, how are they working with you in partnership to ensure and uphold the Southwest integration?
Well, when we began this interview, I told you why we even came here in the first instance. It was to mobilize our region generally for prosperity. It was to ensure that our region becomes the choiced place for leisure and wealth creation. So, if those were the objectives of our leadership in the region, political leadership in the region, then definitely you understand why all of us must key into it. So my response is that we are all doing our best. If you recall, there has not been a political structure that has supported Odua investment as we have done. You may not be too observant on this. Lagos is now part of Odua. Yeah. That is a major step in the integration of the region.
So what you're saying is it's more of an economic integration, not political.
If you can economically
integrate,
definitely the other will follow gradually and systematically.
Will that integration not be contrary to the whole Nigerian question? When the governors of the Southwest gathered not too long ago, people were like, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to separate from the rest of Nigeria? Or is it really in the best interest of the country, especially when it comes to the issue of the structuring?
Ngozi, yes. I now know the issue of age gap. So when I saw you talk, and I was wondering, because I saw your face animated and glowing, the Nigeria equation. The Nigeria equation is a federation. The Nigeria equation is a federation. It's a federal system.
Yes.
That says the people of Nigeria can, in their own spheres and ways, determine their lives. So nobody is talking of secession here. No. Okay. We have equated genuine expression of individual identity and differences as expression of wish to leave Nigeria. No. We are a people. If you speak the same language with me,
yes,
regardless of where you are located, we are the same. So our languages are not artificial development. They are
organic,
sociological, historical development of togetherness over a long period of time. How can you say people who have developed similar communication skill, which you call language, over millennia of years, be separate? They can, no matter what to do, build walls among them. They will be whispering to themselves through the wall. We are the same people. The Nigerian market women, the Yoruba market women from Kogi come to trade here because that's what they have been doing over the years anyway. Yoruba trader from far away, Share in Kwara, come here every day.
So where do you think these ethnic sentiments are coming from?
No. It's in the head of the elites who want to keep us separated because probably it suits them. Over the years, our people have been together. They are the same people. They don't understand the differences you're talking about. So all we want to do as political leaders is to further what has been traditionally their practice, their custom, and build on it. Or go to the market, go to Owena. At Owena's market, you see Yorubas gathered there, and you see some Igbos, some Hausas who have found a niche for themselves in that place. So is it everywhere. So what we are seeking to do is to build upon that, using resources of government to further the national enterprise of our people and give them opportunity to make more money, create wealth and prosperity.
Okay. So
that is the idea.
It's just more about prosperity.
Prosperity for all.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Let's go on a break and we'll come back. You are watching TVC Breakfast live from Osogbo in the state of Osun, and we are hosting the governor of the state of Osun in the virtual state, the state of the virtuous.
Oh,
that's
not like our host, actually.
No, we are hosting each other. Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, he's with us this morning. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
It is controversial.
As a political party, we intend to hold on to what belongs to us. Simple.
It is revealing.
State chapter of the party controlled by the state governor and funded by the state governor, induced by the state governor, manipulated by the state governor, engineered by the state governor, suspended me for what? For criticizing the state governor.
It is incisive.
The dropping of zoning now suggests that perhaps the party may have picked a candidate.
That's not true.
Or is intending to pick a candidate.
I don't think so.
It is investigative.
We're talking about a state that was able to shore up the IGR from what it was during the time of the immediate past administration, which was 750 million naira per month, to what it is now,
That is improvement.
5 billion naira per month.
That is improvement. Which is what you expect.
That is not just
Which is what you expect.
that
from
is
a government.
administrative ingenuity.
It is not.
Follow us. Showing on TVC News Nigeria.
Our land has been claimed. Our homes have been taken away. The waters have invaded man's habitat, thereby crippling commercial activities. Our seas and waterways have broken their bounds, sweeping away lives and property. How long do we suffer from this self-imposed environmental hazard? Drainage systems are not our waste bins. Stop dredging. Stop distorting the balance of our oceans. Stop building on water channels. Let's protect this nation. Let's sustain Mother Nature. Together, we can recreate a planet in harmony. This message is brought to you by TVC News.
Right, we're glad to have you back on this special edition of TVC Breakfast, all the way from Osogbo in the state of Osun. And if you've been with us since the start of this show, of course, you would know that our guest has been Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. He's been talking about quite a number of things. We've looked at education, which is a major plank of his administration. Of course, we've talked about agriculture and all of that. But let's look at security. How was security before you came on board 7 years ago, and what is the situation now, especially, with the vision of attracting more people and keeping the people of Osun here to develop the state?
Well, there has been there has been a tremendous change. Before our advent, there was no nightlife anywhere in Osun. And it was more pronounced in the capital. Osogbo used to sleep by 8 p.m. Osogbo slept very well by 8 p.m. before our advent. But since our advent, or let me put it, since we started the campaign, Osogbo began to, whenever we were here, Osogbo would stay for an hour or two longer. That is number one. But when we assumed the leadership of the space politically, that changed. In the first instance, the miscreants that would not allow ordinary commerce to operate naturally were first of all sent out of town. Miscreants who would make it difficult for market women, ordinary shop owners to freely operate were dislodged. And that was followed up with huge investment in security hardware. For close to 5 years, we had what we call Osun security allowance for all security operatives here. Nothing much, but something to show that the government cares for them. Whoever is an security operative here, of whatever agency, even up to immigration and customs, hand some allowances from us for 5 years, direct. We still do, but it's no longer on a monthly basis.
Okay.
And we invested heavily in procurement of sophisticated state-of-the-art security equipment. In fact, outside Lagos, no state in Nigeria has invested in security hardware as much as we have done. Osun has best in the park armored personnel carrier 25. The best that you can imagine, with a radius sight of 500 meters, both day and night, and several other things. I may not be able to recall specific.
Okay,
but that's security. So we have made Osun a very, very safe and peaceful state. If we want to rate, we can only be second. We might not be the most secured state, but we are definitely not less than the second in Nigeria. This is a haven of peace.
Really interesting to know. All right, maybe we might have to relocate to Osun, to the state of Osun.
It's looking so attractive right now, especially
all right.
with the Osun festival.
Oh yeah, the Osun.
We'll
talk about that.
Aspects,
but as it is right now, 7 years into your administration, do you sometimes feel concerned that the next person who is going to take over from you, whether it's anointed by you or not, might not have the passion, the drive, and the kind of focus that you have?
I'm concerned to the essence that, in a democracy, you can't be too sure of what the people will do or want. To that extent, I'm concerned. But knowing that our people are not just ordinary people, they are not given to unmeasured, uncritical, and casual assessment of issues and events. We are a people with a long history of interest in how our lives are managed. So it's impossible for the Yoruba person not to be conscious of that which benefits him or her. It's just impossible.
So are you concerned about who takes over from you?
If democracy is about the expression of the people, I have no doubt that the people of this state will never allow any irresponsible leadership to emerge after us. So to that extent, my concern is not as much as people express. I'm rather concerned about ensuring that we do not disappoint the people. And that I worry over, I work on, I ensure I do every second of my life. Rather than worry about a successor, I'm more concerned about those things that will ensure that the people remain permanently with us as political parties and tendencies.
That you will not hand over to any political wolves.
That's how it's going to be.
Okay.
With the passion, the vision, the passion, the vision, and the action, it's almost impossible for any charlatan to imagine.
How does your background as a Marxist-Leninist, how has it rubbed off on you as a governor? And of course, your 8 years as Commissioner for Works in Lagos. Tell us how that has really, rubbed off on you.
No, you can't take that away.
Okay.
I was brought up by a passionate religious parents, and the combination of my very well Islamic parentage, well-rooted Islamic parentage, combined with my adoption of Marxism and Leninism in school, coupled with the 8 years of intensive pupillage under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos, and the opportunities political opportunities created by that enervating administration, combined, must be seen as the totality of what has made me. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Whoever says anything to the contrary, just tell that person is talking nonsense. Arrant nonsense. So, Asiwaju's leadership and the opportunity that I had working with him in taking Lagos from doldrums to a stellar administration capacity, and the fact that all my years in the Polytechnic equally exposed me to the best in the theory of popular connection and scientific understanding of the business of life, and why and how people can be organized to improve themselves and live better and worthy lives. And the fact that all my life before then I had been tutored on believing that there is an accountable end ultimately when you live here. That is the Islamic foundation. It would have been impossible for me to do what I am without those three fundamental phases of my life. Oh, impossible. So each of the phases played a role, and in combination, they are the basis of whatever it is that I am today.
And it plays out well in democracy?
Of course.
Okay. All right.
Then, Marxism is about democracy of the people, not democracy of the elite. You ask me as if I could singularly make a person my successor. And I went back to say that, no, it's about the people.
Okay.
It's not about me. So rather than wanting to impose a successor, I am more interested in ensuring that the people are so empowered, strengthened, and developed,
and very enlightened,
to defend their interests, promote it, and stand by it. And that has been the basis of our success. Don't forget, 2014, was there anything left undone to unseat us? Nothing. We were the victim of the highest deployment of security operatives, specifically instructed to take us out. But the people, women particularly, resisted them. Women resisted them. Men were not as bold as women. Women resisted them with brooms.
The women.
All right, Mr. Governor, 7 years down, 1 more year to go. Yeah. After your tenure now, what next for you?
Well, I'm lucky. You know why I'm lucky? I have a gap of 6 months after my exit on the 27th of November 2018, by the grace of God.
Yeah.
I have a 6-month window. So whether I want to rest or not, the 6 months window give me such a huge latitude to even rest and recreate myself. So the discussion I'm having with my wife is that, look, we must just, first of all, go and relax. So I have no specific political agenda now. But I belong to a political family. And in that family, you have leaders such as Baba Akonde, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Segun Oshoba, Otunba Adebayo. Those are the leaders of my political tendency here. So they were the ones that gave us this assignment in the first instance. Don't ever assume that I came here on my own volition. No. Our leadership gave specific instruction on what we must do. After my tenure, just before I end, there will be a meeting in which decisions will be taken on where next. But left to me, I want to relax.
Looking back at the last 7 years, are there things you would have wanted to do that you didn't do? Any regrets? Very briefly, because we're going to be wrapping very soon. Yes, in the state.
Look, I've lived my life to the fullest every day. I sleep. I barely sleep. I slept yesterday at 1 a.m. And that is just, I mean, if not for the fact that I heard that this program is scheduled, I don't sleep earlier than 3 a.m. So what is it? We are doing our best in the circumstance we find ourselves. I cannot recreate Nigerian society. So I must therefore live by whatever comes from Nigeria. From what Nigeria has and what we can do with it, we are very grateful to God for the opportunity.
All right. Well, Mr. Governor, earlier on, you talked about adopting the anthem of the Southwest in the state of Osun.
So I said we adopted the UPN.
The anthem. UPN, exactly. UPN at that time.
To mobilize our people to the task ahead.
We would love to hear it.
I didn't add the fact that we equally introduced a unique flag, which speaks about the uniqueness of the black man.
Okay.
If you look at the color of our flag, I don't know whether it's there. You will see that is the earth brown. The earth brown is more to let the world know that blacks own the earth. All the others are our guests. So, and the black man must know that being the owner of the earth, they must be the ones to protect it. They must be the ones to make the best of it. So that is the idea of the brown background in our emblem.
Okay.
Then you have the Oriolo one. So our anthem is this. Yes. The one that I think is most inspiring is Ọmọ Oòduà dìde bọ́ sí ipò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo adúláwọ̀.
Whoa.
Of course, that means, give me the pleasure of actually translating that. You are the light of the black race.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
that's what it means.
Yes.
That's what
Wonderful.
it means. Mm-hmm.
All right, we have to wrap it here now.
You are a Lagosian. She got it.
You know, that's fine. I have to start my Yoruba classes now then. All right. Mr. Governor, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning. You hosted us and we hosted you as well.
Both ways.
That's nice. Yeah. That's nice.
I'm your guest here.
Yes.
But I'm the overall host.
Thank you. Well, we come to the end of today's edition of the breakfast program. We came into you live from Osogbo, the state of Osun. It is also the state of the virtuous. That's the new slogan of the state. Ìpínlẹ̀ Ọmọlúàbí.
Yes.
You know.
Got it.
Ìpínlẹ̀ Ọmọlúàbí.
Mike, you are dead on it.
My classes in Yoruba have started. All right, we're signing off now from Osogbo. I am Mike Okwache. Have a great day ahead.
And I am Ngozi Alebu, wishing you the very best. See you next time.
I thank you all.
All right, the energetic governor of Osun State there, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, in an exclusive interview on TVC Breakfast, and he gave account of stewardship in 7 years of his administration so far in Osun State, the state of the virtuous. Of course, it's been quite interesting, and I hope you will be able to pick one thing or two there. So with that, we wrap it up on TVC Breakfast for today. Join us again tomorrow for another interesting edition. I am Azizat Olaolu.